All month long, we are celebrating Black culture as we highlight people in our community who define and embody Black excellence. Today, we meet multidisciplinary and Ellie's award-winning artist Chris Friday, whose newest exhibition, Good Times, just debuted at Oolite Arts in South Beach. Chris shares with our ISF correspondent Miriam Tapia the significance of the exhibit and what impact she hopes her art can have.
Friday, thank you so much for inviting us to your exhibition here at Oolite Arts. Let's talk about you a little bit, right? I want to know, describe me your type of style of artwork.
So I'm multidisciplinary, which means that I kind of let the idea manifest however it needs to. But generally I use a black and white chalkboard aesthetic to bring my visions to life.
I did my research that in 2020 you had a different type of style of work. Talk to me about that, your work back then, and why it changed.
So previously, when I first started, it was still the chalkboard aesthetic, but it had more of a focus on teaching. And traditionally in contemporary art, Black artists, we do take on the role of teacher, and we do a lot of over-explaining and oversharing about our personal lives, just as a means to humanize ourselves for the general public, because we're not always seen in a humanizing way in media. And I think the best examples of that was the work that I was doing called The Invisible Middle, and it was like comic book covers of like a conceptual comic book of like what could exist about Black people, to show not the stereotypes, but like that invisible middle. And so I was really doing a lot of teaching about what it means to be Black and be a part of the Black community, and just, what Black culture is actually. And so in 2020, I found myself during the George Floyd summer and all of the protests and everything that was going on. And I did a lot of over-explaining about why this was wrong.
Which leads us to Good Times, right? I see a lot of the inward expression, right? Talk to me about how Good Times got to be in development.
So I think that, coming from that summer and my work's turning inward, I started to think about privacy in public spaces. And I said to myself, like, how can I be an artist exhibiting artworks and bodies of, artworks of Black bodies in public, but still maintain some privacy for our lives. Like, everything that we do is on display in sometimes the worst ways. Our deaths are very public. Yeah. And so if I have to be in the public realm, how can I give my figures privacy even while doing so?
Why Good Times?
I mean, you can talk about anything when you talk about a good time, right? So I don't want to, again, focus on just the struggle of being Black. So I think it's the exhibition is more about, it's like a private party. You know what I mean? So even though it's on public display, the figures are having their own little moments and their own little celebrations that you won't get to know the reasons behind, but when you talk about a good time, you can talk about anything. So I think that was the original thought.
Actually, I love that phrase, good times, because within the struggle, there's always a good time,
always,
right?
Always.
Now, it's Black History Month, right? It's more than just a month, right? You are here, you're trying to put a footprint into the Black culture, into our community. Tell me, when people come here, they see the exhibition, what kind of message do you want to relay?
I think I want them to, again, remember that there is always a good time in the struggle, that we are having lives that are complex and worth celebrating at the same time that these horrible things are happening all around the world and in the country. But I think I would like them to connect, even though this is an exhibition about Black culture featuring Black bodies, connect to whatever you can and remember your own good times. I would love for that to happen.